is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the part 2 to the color changes that I mentioned a few videos back. Make sure to check out that if you haven't seen the first one. And today, like I told you, I'm going to be doing a few more, probably like 3 or 4, all beginner color changes, just a few more that I really like and enjoy. So if you like this video or you like the one before, that you hit like and smash subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get right into the video. Alrighty guys, so getting into the first one is the Twirl Change / Flick Change. So I can use any card. In this case, we'll select one at random. We'll do this one. This is the 3 of spades. And how it would work is I would grab this card, and if I just give it a shake like this, I can actually change it into the 9 of spades. And the other variation, which I call the flick change, very similar. Let me set the deck down for this one. It's like this, but you go 1, 2, and on 3 you give it a shake and it changes like this. That is the 2 variations of that. So let's get into how you can do them. Okay, so they both maneuver on the same technique, which is first of all, you aren't just holding the one card when you go to do either of them. You have a card back to back. That's funny that I have the 2 chokers. That's kind of random. But generally, let me just give it a cut and grab some different cards. Generally, you'll have 2 different cards. So we'll see, like I have the Ace of Diamonds, but I'll pick up 2 so that on the back, it's the 7 of Spades, right? And so what I'm doing, I'm holding it in the specific grip. So your middle finger is going to come at the top right corner. That's going to grab there. And your thumb is going to be the bottom left. Almost like you're holding it, like if you were going to spin it or something, like get it spinning, right? You're going to be holding it with those same 2 fingers. And then generally I'll use my first finger right between the middle finger, and then there's nothing here. I'll just put it on the middle of the top of the card, just to give it more turning power, because basically what's happening is you're going 1, 2, and then on 3 you're just doing this with your finger. You're using your first finger while these is pivoting off your middle finger and thumb, and you're using your first finger to do that spinning motion, right? So you're here, I go 1, 2, and then on 3 I'm slowing it down. Actually, I normally speed up, right? I'll be like this. I'll be like, look, 1, 2, 3, and I'll do it fast, right? And that gives me the cover to just spin this card, right? So here's another view. 1, 2, 3, right? And so again, I'm going 1, 2, 3, and I'm spinning it and catching here. And the cool thing is that other than the first finger, when you do this spin, everything else is going to be in generally the same spots, right? Your middle fingers stay on the same pivot, right? Maybe they aren't, so like, other than your first finger, they're all going to look the same. Alrighty. So the next one is going to be another variation of the Twirl Change, which is the Flick Change. So I'll show you a performance of that, and then we will get into how to. So here's the performance. Let's say that I have the 2 of spades chosen. All I would have to do is take that 2 and go like this once, twice, and on 3, it would immediately change into the Ace of Clubs. So now let's get into how you can do this color change. Okay, excuse me. So, just like with the Twirl Change, it relies on having 2 cards, for example, this Queen of Hearts, back to back with this Jack of Clubs, and, excuse me, the only difference is that instead of the Twirl Change where you're just twirling it, you're going to be relying on the pressure of snapping the card to flick that card around. So I'll try and do this. Show this, you can see when I'm doing it, I'm flicking it, it's doing this, right? But when I do it fast, like this, it just immediately does that, right? So what's happening? Same positioning as the Twirl Change. Middle finger here, thumb here, first finger about here. As for your other hand, it's going to be the opposite. I mean the same, but on the opposite corners. So your middle finger, let me see how I can show you this. Your middle finger is going to be going on this, the the bottom right corner, and your thumb is going to be going on the top left. And basically what you're going to be doing is using your first finger to push slightly on that card so that you can use your left hand, the fingers on the card from your left hand, to create this bow in the card, right? You're bowing the card. And so you're gonna, the way that I do the 1, 2, and then 3, and I flick it, is I'm actually just bowing them for the first 2. I'm going 1, 2, right? That's just bowing. The third one, you're gonna pull back, and all you have to do is make sure that you let go with your thumb first. And it's automatically gonna use your middle finger to flick the rest of the card. So look, watch. I'll try and slow it down. It's hard to get it slow. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, I didn't do enough pressure, so it only went halfway. But it would have went all the way if I did enough, right? So look. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 3. Like that. And it really does look awesome, because it's like it's just changing just like that, right? So I understand maybe I'm not the best teacher. I try my best, but honestly it's kind of hard to show exactly what it is because it's happening so fast. But really, if you got the twirl change down, I have a feeling it's going to be pretty easy. It's all the same maneuverability and all the same basics. You just got to get that finger positioning down, and then the movements. And honestly, it's not too hard. It is a beginner color change. So I really hope that you guys can learn it and it can be easy for you. So let me know if you're able to. And now let's get into the next color change. That was the performance of the snap change. So this one, I'm gonna be honest guys, it still in my opinion lies under beginner. However, I still think that it will take more time than some of these other ones to learn. But honestly, that's just because it's not hard to do. It's just hard to get the finger movement, the finger memory down. So here's how it works. All right, let's get into the basics of how it works. As with a lot of these, you do have 2 cards. Okay. It's not like the twirl change though, where you have them back to back. You're actually gonna have them facing the same way, right? But you're gonna have it squared up so that you can only see one of them. Okay, here's the grip. You're gonna be holding it with your middle finger and first finger out, and your thumb behind it, just pinching like you're gonna pinch some salt, right, and drop it down. You're gonna be pinching that in the bottom right corner. Okay, so almost like right beneath the middle digit. What's happening? Let me do a view here. When you're literally doing a snapping motion. And what's happening is when you snap, it's pulling this finger back, and then it's putting it behind this card. And so I did a bad job of that. But see, I'm literally snapping, and you can see if I hold it like this, you cannot see that ace of hearts at all, right? Unless I show it here. But yeah, so this ace is getting pulled underneath the 7, right? So look, although slowly snapping, boom, right? And again, you cannot see the 7 unless you flash up, right? But generally, and the nice thing too, there's another subtlety I learned, which is flicking the card. Whoops, I messed up on that, sorry. Is flicking the card really helps it to be very nice. And this one, I got it up so high, you couldn't even see it even when I tilted it up some. It's really hard to see that, right? So that's the basics behind it. So let's get into like how you're gonna do it. So basically, this is another one that's hard to explain because it's literally, if you know how to snap, you can probably get this. But you're going to be moving your thumb upward, right? Which is pushing this card up. At the same time, you're using your fingers and pulling this downward. And your first finger is going to come off from on this card as you're pulling. Your middle finger and thumb are pulling. Your first finger is going to come off, which will shoot this card behind it, right? Because pretty soon you're going to clear it and you're just going to be holding it with that middle finger. And your first finger is going to help the thumb hold this card, right? And the nice thing too is that if I take this away after I do it, right? I do it good, right? Like this. Oh, sorry. You can also do like one of these, right? I do it. And the nice thing is that if I take it away, I'm pretty much covered to just bring my hand down and just drop that card in my lap. And now I have just nothing dirty, right? All clean, and I can let them expect it, right? So I do this and bring it away, and then I can immediately do it. Or there is another version too, like I've saw some people just like kind of palm this, right, like this, where they have it in that type of palm just right there, and they're just holding it, and then they'll turn it, right? And then they'll just keep this right here, or they'll put it into Gambler's Cup, right, so that they can pretty fairly show this card without seeing it, and they'll just go on from there, right? But, so that's the basics behind it, right? Again, I'm sorry if I'm explaining this bad, I'm trying my best, but it really is hard to explain because it's almost like you're just snapping, right? But you have to make sure, something that I would say, when you're doing it, you have to make sure it clears that card. You can't have it here, because obviously if it gets stuck, they're going to be able to see part of that card, right? You have to make sure it gets clear. And honestly, something that I know a lot of you are trying to do is you're probably all trying to immediately do the flick into it. And I know because that's what I was doing when I was first learning. I tried doing that flick subtlety as I did it, and I couldn't get it. And then I watched a video, and they said that it definitely makes it cooler, but you have to just start by just doing this. And you have to just do this over and over and over until you get where you can do this without the flick, and you can make it look pretty good. Because basically the flick is just to hide the pulling. Because even if you do it fast like that, you know, you're still going to see something happen. You don't know where it goes because you can't see that, but you know something happened. The flick is just to make it look like you flicked it off, right? So what I would suggest, which is what I did, which is how I learned it so much faster, start just learning how to make it look pretty good on this, right? And if you get it where every single time you do this, it's not getting stuck like this, and it's not going like this where you're flashing here, you have it really good, you're getting it down every single time, then I would go into just flip the card and then do this, okay? And I know you're like, why, right? But flick and then do it. And eventually you're gonna get where because if you immediately go into trying to flick and do it at the same time, your mind cannot process both of those things immediately. You have to get that muscle memory and that mind memory back up to doing it. So you flick, then you do it, okay? And eventually, when you get that down, that's when you want to start trying to flick it at the same time you do it. And I know this sounds like a lot of work, but it honestly is going to make it, it's going to save you so much time in learning, and it's going to make overall the entire process a lot easier, because I know that it was hard for me until I learned that, and then I started doing that. So that is my tip on how to get it the best, how to be able to do the snap change the best. So now let's get into the next color change. Okay, so for this next color change, it is called the paintbrush change. So how it works, well, actually, let's have a card selected. For example, this one, which is the 7 of spades. Okay, you can see that, right? And what I'm going to do is take that 7, and you can see if I take it like this, and I just do this painting maneuver, like this, you can see that sorry. So if I take this 7 and I just do this, you can see that I actually get it to completely change into the 9 of hearts, right? I'll show you another view, okay? Take that 7, and if I'm just doing this, you can see that I just paint it into that 9 of hearts. So how is it working? Well, again, you're gonna have, sorry, that was 3 cards. You're gonna have 2 cards, again, back to back. And you're gonna be holding them kind of like how you held the snap change, but instead of holding them here, right, you're gonna be holding them on the side. So like here, like you're just gonna hand this to someone, right? Or you're just gonna show them the back or the front, right? And so the mechanics behind the move are, I'm going once, I'm still holding everything. I'm going twice, still holding everything. And on the 3rd time, I'm using my thumb to just push that piece off where I just come up with the 2nd card. Okay? So in fast time, it looks like that, right? And so basically, again, kind of hard to explain, but basically, you're pulling, right? You do it once, and you have to maintain a tight grip or these cards will move around. You don't want that, okay? So you're holding it hard once, twice, and then on 3, you're going to be pushing. So some people do it differently. There's 2 ways to do it. The first way is just to let that card flick down like that. I don't like that because I feel like it makes too much noise. So what I do is I actually just push it down as I go, right? So obviously at some point you're going to drop the card, but I tend to do it, some people do it right here, and it's like boom. I don't like that. I like doing it more when I'm closer to the bottom, so I'll do it right there. And then I'll wipe up and show that it's changed, okay? So either way, whichever way you do it, that's the main mechanics behind it. You're going to be doing it once, doing it twice, and then on 3, you're just going to be wiping and showing that it changed, okay? So let's get into the 4th and final color change. Alrighty, so the final color change is called the cardini change. So this is what it looks like. It's generally used as a vanish, but you can use it as well for a color change, and it looks like this. If I just give this card a flick, you can see that it completely vanishes. Or another thing, if I grab this card, you can see that this is the Queen of Diamonds, and if I give it a flick like that, you can see that it is changed into the 7 of Spades. So let's get into how to do that. So basically, the whole idea of the cardini change is you have a card or 2 cards on top. Here's what's happening without the cover. When I'm flicking, I'm doing this. Oops, sorry. I'm doing this, pulling normally 1 card, right? I go like this, boom. And what I'm doing is I'm using my pinky to pull this card, and then I'm pushing it under. And the nice thing then is that you have no cleanup because it's in the same, it's on the bottom, right? And so it's not face up or anything. That's your cleanup's already done, right? So if you're vanishing, you're flicking, right? And here's the exposed view, flicking, and I'm just pulling that card underneath and then turning over and putting on top, right? And I'm gonna get into the basics more. I'm just showing you so that you understand. Here, if I have 2 cards, right? 3 of hearts, 3 of diamonds, and I do that same flick maneuver, boom. Again, it's all under the cover, you can't see anything. I put it on the bottom, and now we have the 3 of diamonds, right? So how do we do it? Basically, start with just 1 card, okay? Your grip is going to be kind of like, I generally hold it with my thumb on the left side, first finger on the top, and then all of my other 3 fingers on the right side. Some people hold it like this with their pinky on the bottom, but I find it easier to get to the card if I have it on the right side. And basically, you need to get used to using your pinky and pulling a card off and pivoting it off the deck like this, right? So that you can pull it, you can go from here to here, right? Pulling it off. So that's the first step that I tell you to do, is just practice using your pinky and pulling it off. And because honestly, you're gonna need to build up the muscle memory to be able to do this, right? This pinky thing. So that's what I would suggest. Then, what is the cover gonna be? Generally, I do a flick. Basically, the cover you're going to be able to cover, is when you have it here, cover that, and then also cover the movement of putting it on the bottom, right? So what I do is I tend to keep my hands out like this. I do a flicking motion, and when I do that flicking motion, I'm bringing my hand more in so that it covers more of the card, right? So I'm here, I do the flick motion, and as you can see, I'm using my first finger to make sure that card doesn't just go out like this, right? We don't want it to be out here, okay? But yeah, so I'm using that flick motion to bring it more in, and I'm covering here. And then I'm using my finger and the fleshy part of my hand to align that with the bottom, right? So you're here, flick, move forward, it's all covered from here, and then pull it over here. And it's the same with two cards. The biggest thing, you just don't want to take them both, but you have the 7, right? Flick, it's gone, and then show that it changed into the king, right? Whatever. Again, it will take time, guys, so it is beginner, but it's still going to take time, so don't worry about it. Just keep practicing, and pretty soon you'll get it down where you can literally just do this over and over and over. Oops, messed that up, sorry. And over almost every time, and just make it look good. So I know that you guys will get it eventually. You just got to keep practicing it. And so yeah, so that was the final one. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys going on this journey with me. Honestly, this was one of my favorite videos to make. I do apologize. For some reason, when I was going over the footage, I sound really weird. Like, I almost sound like I'm sick. I'm not, I promise. I'm sorry if it sounded like that, or if that I wasn't enthusiastic. I just really wanted to make sure that I got it to you guys and that you could understand. But I really was excited, and honestly, this was a very important video for me to make, because when I was making this video, I was literally going down memory lane back to 3 years ago when I first started. The first videos that I really learned were color changes, and that's why I've really shown importance on this. I get maybe some of you don't think it's that important, and maybe it's not, but I feel like it was important to me, and I wanted to share that same thing with you, which is why I make this channel, sharing that same love and joy that I had. And this was one of the things that I really enjoyed learning when I was a beginner 3 years ago, and I've always enjoyed up to this day having in my magic tricks and my magic shows that I do. So I really appreciate you guys going on this. This was an awesome video for me. And if you guys like this video, make sure to check out my other content, turn on notifications, hit like, and smash subscribe. Please, 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 guys. I'm so close to that goal of 100, and I can't wait to get the goal of 1,000. I know that you guys have done so much to support me already, but if you are not subscribed, make sure that you do. And if you are, share it with someone else, help them to get me to that goal of 1,000 subscribers, and make sure, yeah, to like and turn on notifications. And I will see you guys in the next video. Adios, amigos. Love you all.